I'm Noah Pacht. I'm 24 and I'm from Houston, Texas. My current role on Broadway is Ponyboy in The Outsiders. I started doing musicals my freshman year of high school. I did a play, I did the 39 Steps, and then my first musical was It Should Have Been You, which some Broadway fans out there might know, but my high school theater director was into like very niche shows, and she's always picking plays and musicals that a lot of high schools are not doing. So I'm pretty sure we were the high school world premiere. I could be lying about that, but I think that's the case. So yeah, It Should Have Been You was my first musical, and then we did Fiddler on the Roof, and then a bunch of others. I went to college with Jason Schmidt, who originated Soda Pop in The Outsiders. So he is a really good friend of mine, and I think like the first friend I had who was in a Broadway show. And so I was following The Outsiders just through him from the time it was being done at La Jolla. So I didn't get to see it at La Jolla, but I would talk to him and I'd hear updates. And then when it moved to Broadway, I went and with a bunch of friends, including Travis Roy Rogers, who's playing Daryl in The Outsiders tour right now. And he and I saw The Outsiders in previews for the first time. And then I've just seen it too many times since then. I've seen it on tour twice. I've seen it on Broadway, I think 4 times now. And I was just so blown away. I thought it was magnetic and powerful, and it wasn't like anything I'd ever seen done in the theater. And it kind of gave me that feeling that I had that first time I saw Newsies and Bandstand of like, there's just something raw and strong and dangerous and emotional and beautiful and vulnerable about this musical. So I have just been like stuck to it and listening to the soundtrack for 2 years now. I saw the show in previews. It was maybe they were a week or 2 or 3 weeks into previews. I walked out of the theater and I called one of my best friends from college, and I was like, I don't know when, I don't know where, but I'm gonna play Ponyboy, because I was just so moved. I was like, I would play it. I'll play it in my room. Like, I'll play it in my room. I'll pay other people to watch me do this. But I just love the role and I love the play, and I felt really connected to the part. I'm really excited about the fact that Ponyboy is not just a vessel of storytelling like any other character in a play, but he is the narrator, and there's a really interesting relationship that he has, or that I'll have, with the fourth wall and with the audience. And so that's something I've talked a lot with Danya Tamor, our director, about, even going back to like my first audition for Ponyboy, is that there is no fourth wall, some of the time. And so as an actor, when you're working 99% of the time, you have to like really invent that wall. Like there's no camera, there's no audience. Like you want to have that sense of it's okay to be seen, it's okay to be ugly, it's okay to be anything, because there's no one watching. And that's the most interesting stuff I like to watch, is when it feels like an actor is raw in that way. But Ponyboy has to be raw and vulnerable and open while knowing that everyone is watching and while having that relationship with them. So it's gonna be a challenge, and it's gonna be exciting, and I think it'll change night to night. Every audience brings in a different energy and has their own personality and sense of humor and lived experience, and it'll change. But I'm really excited to develop that relationship with the audience and with people that love the show as much as I do.